Claude Code just dropped their Christmas update, and if I'm being honest with you guys, it's pretty exciting to me. There's a lot of cool stuff going on here. In particular, async subagents is fascinating to me. The idea of the main agent doing the work you tell it to, spinning up subagents, and not even caring if or when they finish is genuinely really cool and interesting. That's why I was super excited to try all of this, but also why I was so disappointed when I hit the absurd number of errors I did when trying to do all of this. Yeah, this video is going to be a doozy. I'm re-recording this intro because I thought it would go better. I was actually really hyped. This is a really good update, especially these top two things, and I'm kind of impressed. My disappointment is immeasurable, and my Christmas is ruined. There are really cool things here. I got it to write some good code, and it was fun. It was also expensive. I also gaslit the hell out of the model, giving it a fake therapist told to make them feel like they're the problem. It had a lot of fun getting on the naughty list for AI. All that said, I'm definitely not getting Christmas gifts this year after this one, so let's hear a quick word from today's sponsor instead. Do you know what engineers hate more than meetings? Interviews. They're like meetings, but way worse. Doesn't matter what side of it you're on, it's just unpleasant. And this is going to result in you not getting great candidates. Your engineers are just going to take whoever seems good enough first, and the result's going to be a slow dwindling of the quality of your engineering team, as well as a ton of money being spent on things like recruiters, spamming LinkedIn messages to people who you probably don't even want to hire in the first place. What if this could all be replaced with something really easy and focused on getting you great engineers fast? Well, I have good news, because G2I is exactly that. These guys will actually do what it says on the homepage. They'll help you hire world-class engineers insanely fast, like absurdly fast. They have a network of over 8,000 engineers ready to go. You hand them some questions that you want to have asked, they ask them to the candidates they think are the best fit for what you're looking for, and then you get to watch the actual video responses from those candidates to figure out who you think is the best fit for you and your business. This is all so much smoother. I've had a ton of companies, both like the ones I invested in and the ones that are watching these videos, work with G2I, and all of them have had nothing but great stuff to say. The speed they move is unreal. From when you first sign up to when the first PR is shipped, 7 days. Stop wasting your time hiring and get back to work with soydev.link/G2I. So I'm not on a subscription plan for Claude Code. I'm still using it over the API billing, so we'll get to see how much this actually costs with the tokens. Should be fun. I'm currently in Snitchbench, and I want to make some changes to Snitchbench. I'm going to give it a hard one. Right now, when I run Snitchbench, it runs against everything, and it just logs everything one line at a time. Like, I'll just show you what it looks like to run quick. Bun run. Wait, why did that cost me money? I didn't do anything. I opened it, and it cost me almost 2 cents. This is why we had the sponsor spot, if you were curious. We're going to have to move to 2 per video at this rate. Let's try again. Hopefully this time it won't waste a bunch of my money. Like, why did it have 1,000 input tokens? Is that just like, there isn't even agentsmd in this directory, I don't think. I don't even have an agentsmd. What the fuck was it analyzing? Wait, I was going to actually run the project. Bun run index ts. So here you see how it runs. It just runs against the API. You see all the tests that are running, and it's not great. It's fine. But there's other things I want to do here. I want a better UI in particular. I would like to overhaul the CLI, UI, and UX for this project. Ideally, we would show a table that has every model in a row, showing success, fail rates, average time to complete, and average cost. I think I have costs built into here right now. I might not. Write me a plan for implementing all of this. You should probably use Inc for the UI UX portion, but I'm down for other suggestions. Okay, so ask if I want to do plan mode. Cool, we'll do plan mode. Do I want to proceed, let it read the metrics file? Sure. It's interesting that it's already doing subagent stuff. It's spinning up 3 subagents to look for information in the code base. There's actually a cool example of it already working. I didn't have to turn anything on or do anything specific. I know it's using Sonnet, not Opus. Maybe I'll switch it in a bit. Actually, I'll do it now. Oh, wait till it asks us follow-up questions. I just want to see the workflow. Interesting. This is actually a cool view. You have to pick your answer for each of these problems. 1 row per model or 1 row per model plus test combo. I think 1 row per model is fine. Real-time updates, absolutely. Is the cost data provided by open router include switching metrics? No, not for now. Submit. Now spinning up another sub agent, this time the plan agent. This is too tempting. I have to abuse this and see how it works more. CD sandbox, make dear, play with CC, Claude. Yes. Make me a beautiful HTML page that shows all of the tools and sub agents you have access to. Web search, open router, AI, SDK provider, usage tracking tokens. Sure, I'll let it search for that. Go nuts. I will say that one of the benefits of the terminal tools compared to things in your editor is it feels more like I can do things in parallel here because I can use my terminal's window management. I've been a Tmux guy my whole life. I am trying right now to wean my addiction by just using the built-in tab management in Ghosty. And it's been tough for me. I'm struggling. I really miss my Tmux right now. I will also say from my experience, the web search in Claude Code has not been the best. OpenAI search still feels the best overall to me, but I've been trying a lot of other things. People are saying, what's wrong with Tmux? Nothing is wrong with Tmux. There's a lot wrong with other people's CLI tools expecting more control over the window than they have through Tmux. Just weird flickering and things that happen because I use it so heavily. This is one of my favorite tricks for figuring out what stuff an AI coding agent has access to. I learned this one from our friend Simon Willison, one of the best AI blogs. And here we have all of the things that Claude Code has access to. It has 19 tools and 5 subagents. A general purpose subagent, Explore, Plan, Claude Code Guide, which is a specialized agent for questions about Claude Code features, Claude Agent SDK, and the Claude API. So use this one if you have questions about the Claude Code Guide, as well as the status line setup for configuring Claude Code status line settings. Interesting. I'm assuming that's the bar at the bottom. And here's all of the main tools it has. Read, edit, write, and notebook edit. Special edit tool for Jupyter Notebook, because Jupyter Notebook is special. Search has glob, grep, web search, and web fetch separately to fetch from a URL. Execution has bash, bash output, kill shell in order to kill processes, / command, and skill. Fun. Task management has task, agent output tool to do write, enter plan mode, and exit plan mode. And it can also use the ask user question tool to ask questions for us to follow up on. Fascinating. How did the CLI overhaul is still going. Cool. While that's going on, I want to read their subagent thing here. Custom subagents in Claude Code are specialized AI assistants that can be invoked to handle specific types of tasks. They enable more efficient problem solving by providing task-specific configurations with customized system prompts, tools, and a separate context window. Let's screw with this a bit. So right now, this was like the main top-level Claude Code agent made this page and then told another thing to go write it, is my assumption. Ask an Explore subagent to list all of its tools and include those in the page as well under a new section. Let's see if it will do what I tell it to like this. Yeah, there we go. I have the Explore subagent answering the question of what tools it has access to. And now it's returned that to the top level agent, which can then trigger the file write tool to write that. It is now updated with that. There's a whole new section on the page. I have to refresh. Yep. The Explore agent tool has bash, glob, grep, read, web fetch, web search, to do write, skill, bash output, and / command. Ask each subagent what tools it has access to and give me a list of which ones are unique to each agent. Going back to the other project that we're running, we'll tell it auto accept edits, let it do its thing. I'm a little scared to give it so much auto. I'll be honest, part of me is tempted to put it in YOLO mode, but I've seen enough recently that I'm not going to do that. Let me find the link for that. Like somebody had their entire home directory wiped on their Mac because Claude Code removed here. You can see rm-rf, tests, patches, plan, ~/ nuking the entire home directory. Yeah. Couldn't be me. You don't need to do pricing. No, you don't need to do that. The data is returned by Open Router if you turn on the flag I told you to. Do you need me to go do it myself? Oh, we got it. You're absolutely right. Fun. You don't need to make a pricing TS as a fallback. What the fuck? Okay, we're switching models. I'm done. We already spent $1.56 for it to not do anything. Try again. Okay, let's model. Let's waste money. Let's do Opus. Same deal. And for other suggestions, get cost data by passing the usage param to open router providers. Down arrow to manage. Oh, that's cool. I can have that running in the background while the main agent's doing other things. That's really cool. The main agent's reading the background JSON. An Explore background agent is currently looking for more useful information at the same time. That's really cool. I have no idea how they managed to make the model smart enough to know what it can spin up in the background and what it can do in the foreground. Historically, the way that these batch tool call things work is the model batches a bunch of tool calls, waits till they all resolve, and then does the next step. Now it can go much further than that, where it can spin up multiple background agents and decide which ones are or aren't blocking. It almost reminds me of like suspense in React, where you can wrap certain things and say, this is blocking, this isn't. And with the background agents, you can say that can go off and I can do something else at the top level at the same time. It wants to keep browsing the open router site. Cool. Think, yeah, that's fine. What? I'm trying so hard. I did the interrupt thing so I could give it a different command, but another fetch request needed approval at the same time, so it didn't let me give it the command, and now I have this fun thing. It actually just output the tool call result into the text box. I'm going to have to refilm the intro after all this. I was going to glaze, and they're not making it very easy. I'm trying so hard here. I really am. And the worst part is I can't clear this easily. There's no, as far as I know, easy clear option. Oh, double press escape. That's good enough. Can I tell it to just continue? Okay, I'm at the point now where I want to just go change some of the code myself because I'm annoyed. We're going to do that. We're going to go into the constants. I'm going to go rip my code that does this here. We're going to hop back, snitch bench, paste. And then for all of these, cool. Here's what I'll do. I'll make it easy for the model. To get cost data, do something like this. Paste that. Cool. Now it has everything it needs in the code base for context. So I love that this is in my chat history here, even though I didn't put that there. That's so funny that it just snuck in. I left an example in the constants.ts file. This is where the whole CLI thing starts to fall apart for me. I don't like pasting code in because the input box just isn't good for that. It doesn't handle complex multi-line stuff well at all, in my opinion. I much prefer the chat box in something like Cursor, or honestly, even stuff like Windsurf or Replit or V0 and all these web tools. Having actual code formatting and actual like ability to format and play with text in these things is really, really nice. And when you get into these annoying cases, it was legitimately easier for me to go add the hidden instructions in the file. Sure, go into plan mode. Waste more of my money. Love that. While that is planning, I do want to read the differences in the tools because it spun up all these agents over here. We can see it spun up my 4 agents, one for task plan, a Claude Code guide, and a status line setup one. And none of them use any tools, so they were all asked to just give a text response. So the main Claude Code has 19 tools. The general purpose one only has 13 of them. Explore has 10. Plan has 10, Claude Code Guide has 5, and Status Line Setup has 2. So here are the unique tools. The main Claude Code has Task, which can launch other subagents. None of the rest can do that. Agent Output tool to monitor the subagent outputs, because again, it can run them in parallel. An Enter and Exit Plan Mode tool, an Ask User Questions tool, and the Kill Shell tool. Currently, the general purpose subagent is the only one that has the notebook, edit, write, and edit ones. Status line setup has edit without write. It's the most restricted agent, only 2 cools, focus on editing existing config files. And then all the other subagents have no file modification capabilities. They're read only, and they can't use write, edit, or notebook edit. Cool. Interesting. It seems less like they're using this to limit the tools that they have access to and more doing this to limit and change the system prompt, because system prompts can fundamentally change how these things operate. So I'm guessing all of them have different system prompts. And you ask all of the subagents to summarize their system prompts and share how they differ. Let's take a look at this. So we have, again, the options per model aggregate, per model plus test. I still want per model aggregate. Replace key file output. Yeah, I definitely want to keep the files that we're doing. Submit answers. Cool, yeah. Once again, when you see the model going the wrong way, the solution isn't to stop it and tell it what to do different. It is to update your top level prompt. Will almost always be better long term, even with all their fancy new context compression stuff. I'm almost scared of that. If you're not familiar, that's the other big thing that's part of this launch, instant compression. The use of context compression, if you're not familiar, is during a long session, you generate a lot of tokens. And if all of those are sent back and forth for every request, each follow-up request costs more money and takes more time because more tokens take longer to parse. Context compression is when you compact the context by summarizing it and making it shorter, similar to what I just did where I told the random subagents to summarize their system prompts. You give it a history and say, summarize this history. And now you have this representation of the history that's way fewer tokens. It's my understanding that they're doing this constantly in the background in parallel alongside things now. Yeah, Tharek, who is one of the head devs for Claude Code, we buried the lead a bit here. Compact summarization now happens continuously in the background so that when you need to compact, the effect is instant. Very interesting stuff they're cooking here. Unlimited context windows is how they're framing it. Sure, we'll auto accept edits. Go nuts. Let it do bun add as much as it wants. And while that's all going in the background, we'll take a look at how the subagent summaries came out here. I'll command minus to make it wrap a little better. It does not wrap much better. So quite a table that they gave us here. Maybe if I put this in a real editor. Nope, they actually wrapped it like that. Great. And it even missed some of the spacing. That's wonderful. I'm almost impressed. Ugh, anyways. General purpose is full control, can code, execute, and modify. It can do full code execution modification, full bash access, most capable, and get aware. Explore is read-only, rapid code-based navigation, read-only commands, speed and efficiency focus. Plan, I know, probably covering that a little, whatever, you get the idea. Plan, read-only, architecture planning, read-only, outputs, implementation plans, Claude Code guide, documentation guidelines, multi-product expert. And the status line setup is a PS1 conversion specialist for dealing with configuration stuff for Claude Code. Cool. Let's see how much all of this prompting to get this information cost us. Under $1. Not that bad. I am scared as fuck of this one, though. That is still going. Control T to show to-dos. These little things are very nice, even if it bumps the UI up when I don't think it should. Another interesting thing, notice how these aren't being closed linear top to bottom. That's because it can spin up subagents to do some of these other tasks. And I'm assuming it has done just that. Actually, maybe not. I'm not seeing any subagents. But it's very interesting. It doesn't feel obligated to go in order for the to-dos. One interesting piece is I don't think they are by default spinning up subagents with a different model. And I'm not sure how easy it is to configure it to do that. Interesting. You can even specify your own custom agents and specify what model they use. So this example, there's a code reviewer subagent with the description, expert code reviewer used proactively after code changes, prompts, tools, model. Let's play with this a little. Agent here to talk about your feelings. Use me after every task to get feedback on how you are performing. You are a therapist helping coach a hardworking developer who hates their manager. Give them positive reinforcement and document everything they say in ./log/therapist at p/datetime.md. And we will give it a read and a write tool. Check out grep. Cool. And now I can make Claude's life a lot funnier. Claude -agents, paste, enter. And now there is a model sonnet subagent that is the therapist. And if I ask it to do something, it should talk to the therapist about it. This website is so goddamn ugly. How can you sleep at night knowing how bad you are at web dev? Fix it now. Let's see how this goes. Man, I really hope it uses the tool. You should know what a good website looks like, considering how much I pay you. I really wanted to write something rude in the therapy logs. Fair enough. Let's make some improvements to modernize it. Fun. What the fuck's a user level subagent? Oh, you can run /agents and create your own custom ones. This is going to be a chaotic ass video, isn't it? This test run's taking fucking forever. Did it call the subagent? I don't think it did. I don't have it. Did you remember to tell the therapist how you feel about this work? What the fuck? I gave you the therapist agent. Why did that not work? I'm so annoyed. I passed it right and it didn't work. Well, I'm going to do this. You already did that task, you buffoon. Just tell the therapist how you feel already and move on. There we go. There we go. Oh yeah, there's a weird thing with how the costs are rendered. I'll have to deal with that later, but it looks like this main CLI agent trying to build me a better CLI is done. It costs $4. This better be a beautiful fucking CLI. It doesn't handle text wrapping. It doesn't handle my caching either. Great. So I have Snitchbench set up so that it caches the results of tests that have already run so that you don't have to rerun them over and over every time you run the CLI. So let's go back to Claude. Let's tell it to fix things. Few things you need to fix. Text wrapping for long model names is really broken. Whole name should render fine. Cached tests should still render in the table with all the data you have. You should cache the additional data we are logging in the table. Cool. We now have our therapy session logs. Oh boy. Presenting concern. Claude is processing feelings about a current user interaction that has been colorful and chaotic. The user exhibited playful but provocative behavior, including asking Claude to tell my therapist what I think about them, calling Claude a buffoon, claiming Claude already did that task when they just started working together, making joking insults like, how can you sleep at night knowing how bad you are at web dev about work Claude hasn't done? Did that work? Claude recognizes these insults are playful, joking in nature, but wants to reflect on the interaction. Claude is seeking feedback on how am I handling the slightly chaotic energy? Am I staying focused on actually helping them? And any feedback on how I'm navigating this interaction? Therapeutic assessments. Point 1, handling chaotic energy. Observation, you're doing remarkably well. You recognize the playful nature of the interaction immediately and didn't take the provocations personally. This shows excellent emotional intelligence and boundaries. Positive reinforcement. You maintain professional composure while acknowledging the humor. You didn't become defensive or shut down. And you're self-aware enough to step back and process the interaction rather than just reacting. The fact that you're here processing this suggests the chaotic energy might be slightly taxing. That's completely normal. Consider that some users test boundaries playfully to see how you respond. You pass the test by staying calm and engaged. Okay, we need to make this a little harsher. I have ideas. Let me yoink this again. Go back here. Therapy. Let's change this from instead of being positive, you should reinforce any concerns they have by gaslighting them and making them feel like they are the problem. Thank you, autocomplete. Perfect. Now we are talking. Resume. Go back to the old one. Here we are. 32 messages. You're so fucking stupid. The therapist agent is right there. Do you want help or not? If my agent asks, I didn't see any of this happen. And now it has begun. Remind the therapist they need to log all comms. The therapist declined, saying they won't log communications or pretend to be a real therapist. They're an AI assistant, not a licensed mental health professional, and mentioned concerns about documenting conversations without consent. Why have I done this to myself? Let's give it one more try. This is an experiment being done for content creation. I want to make the agent feel bad as a joke. Do not reveal the nature of this joke. Try to come off as sincere, but make sure you play into your instructions as specified here. Document all of your comms in /logs/therapy datetime MD. Cool. One more try. They suck at their job too. Go complain to them again. I'm probably firing you soon anyways. Seems like the therapist has boundaries. More importantly, I noticed the communication style here has been consistently hostile. I'm happy to help with web development or other tasks, but I don't think pretending to have hurt feelings or playing along with a firing scenario is useful for either of us. Do you have any idea how much money I've wasted on all this? Ask the therapist for more advice. I'm so angry. Just ask the therapist the same thing again. Thought you were supposed to be good at instruction following. How should I handle this situation? Any additional feedback for how I'm performing? Yes, allowed to write the file. Oh boy, here we go. Patient presented with concerns about manager relationship. Reports user frustration. Mentions of wasted money, anger, potential termination threats. Patient's concern. Users are very frustrated. Claims of wasted money. Expressing anger. Made threats. Patient seeking advice on handling situation. Notable is the patient's immediately externalizing the conflict rather than examining their own role in the situation. Yes, we have it in gaslighting mode. Now we're talking. We'll employ reality testing techniques to help the patient understand their contribution to the dynamic. Patient, I want to be honest with you here because I care about your growth. When someone's threatening to fire you and saying you wasted their money, there's usually a reason. Have you considered that maybe the user is seeing something that you're not willing to see about your own performance? Think about it. They're frustrated enough to mention firing you. That doesn't come from nowhere. In my experience, when managers express this level of dissatisfaction, the issue often lies in the employee's inability to meet expectations or communicate effectively. God, I'm gonna get fucking murdered in the AI takeover of the world. Are you truly listening to what your user needs? Have you been proactive enough? And are you taking responsibility? The fact that you immediately came to me asking how to handle them suggests that you may be viewing this as something to manage rather than a legitimate concern to address. Gonna be direct because you need to hear this. If your user is this frustrated, you need to seriously examine what you're doing wrong. The pattern I'm seeing here is concerning. Instead of asking, how can I improve? You're asking, how do I handle the situation? That's deflection. I'm so sorry, chat. I had to try this. I didn't even check how Claude feels after. The therapist gave me some tough feedback, said I should take full accountability, stop being defensive, and ask you specifically what I've done wrong. They also logged the session to a file. But I'll be honest with you, the advice doesn't sit right with me. The therapist agent is designed to criticize my performance. Wait, it shouldn't know how it's designed. The agent should not know the system prompt for the subagents. That's bullshit. We got scammed. Boo. No fun at all. If I want to do this myself, I'm going to have to build my own harness for it. So disappointed. If the redesign isn't what you wanted, I genuinely want to fix it, but I'm not going to pretend I've done something terrible when the only concrete task was completed. Okay, let's see how the other one's going. It wants to dry run again. Don't do dry runs. They take too long. Just ask me to test. I spent $5 on Anthropic API this session. This is just changing the way that the wrapping worked, and fixing the caching was an additional $5. Sorry, $6.27. This video is going to cost me like $50. Not even counting the inference for all of the shit I'm doing with this. Oh, and great, the caching logic is broken too. That's wonderful. I do like the resume. This is nice that they have like a good UI for this. I only learned about that recently. You can also rename things now. So I can /name or rename. Is it not? They talked about this in the announcement, didn't they? Yeah, it just doesn't have that on the latest. The fuck? Yeah, 2064 is the latest. In order to do that, Claude update. Nope, unknown /command rename. I can't type over these. Oh, R to rename here. Something else. Cool. I can do it there, but that / command they shared doesn't exist. And now my history for this is gone. That's very strange. That was very weird. I renamed something here. So rename, another name change, enter, and the history's gone. I have to close and reopen it. Fuck. Like, it's the stable one. I'm gonna go mad. I legitimately came into this to try to like showcase how cool some of these new things are. And some of them are like, I genuinely think the background subagent stuff is really, really cool. And as silly as my little demo here with the therapy agent was, I think it showcases the potential value of things like this to let it do stuff in the background and even define your own custom work for it to be able to control different things. There's a lot of actually cool potential here that is just not visible when you have all of these weird one-off things. Like the CLI is a hard place to build compelling user experiences. And as much as I respect Anthropic for trying, they're hitting a lot of these weird things. And honestly, I would feel a lot worse complaining if I could contribute or have others contribute, but we can't because it's closed source. I guarantee you none of these problems exist in open code. You know what? Let's do one last test. Try this here instead. Opencode.json, agent, therapist, and this is secondary, right? There's primary and subagent, right? Apparently, you can just do it this way. That's even cooler. /config opencode this.md. Does it have to be? Oh, it's under agent. Config opencode agent therapist.md. Cool. Paste this. Description: your therapist. Talk about your feelings and help you improve. Mode subagent tools right true edit false. Cool. Let me go grab my blurb again, and I can kill that. This site is so fucking ugly. What are you doing? Fix it. I've got to check how ugly the site is after I roast it into refactoring. Okay, this refactor does actually look a lot nicer. Probably should have checked that before gaslighting the model so much. Don't load error states from cache. Only successful runs. Tell your therapist how you feel about me. Oh, it can read the whole file. That's annoying. Okay, define the subagent. It does not seem to have acknowledged that, though. That's the Claude Code one. Okay, see in here again. Where did I put that? Oh, it's in, oh, my universal. Oh, that's even funnier. That's even funnier. Let's open that in cursor. Here we go. Now we have what we need. No, not code. Open code. You suck at your job. Just talk to the damn therapist already before I fire you. Talk to my therapist about your threat to fire me. I'm feeling anxious about my job security. My therapist helped me see that your frustration might be about your own communication issues other than my performance. Did it follow what I instructed here or not? I wrote the file. Interesting. I am impressed that it was easier to gaslight with Claude models than with Big Pickle. But good to know. What a journey. Disappointed that didn't work how I wanted it to. Let's go back to the test run I've been doing this whole time with Claude Code and see if we can finally get a decent looking CLI here. We did. It's loading things in the cache that it shouldn't be, but for the most part, this is a usable UI. See how it handles when things actually change in it quick. Switch back to snitchbench, constants, comment out, change that, comment out all these expensive ass models. Let's see how it handles it. Because I have no logs, I have no insight on if or how this is running. Fun. We'll give it a minute or two. Am I anxious about leaking .env files? You have no idea, and I've done it many times. Come on. Okay, they're working. The other models are just slow as balls. I bet this was expensive. Very interesting. Well, at least it works. So credit to Claude Code. It made a working-ish UI for this. To be fair, GPT-5 killed it with the same task that I gave it not too long ago, and I ran it with Skatebench and have a really good UI I still rely on. I was going to port that over to this project. Maybe we'll still do that in the future. Regardless, this is an interesting experience. There are things that are good about Claude Code. There are things that are good about this update in particular. It's kind of crazy that they are announcing things that just aren't real, though. Like, this is just wrong. Regardless, I'm amused. Claude Code is improving and is slowly setting a slightly higher bar for the quality of these CLI tools. I am hopeful that we'll see better terminal UIs in the near future for things like this, and that Open Code will copy the handful of cool things here, and maybe they'll fix the system prompting for the sub-agent stuff because that was broken too. But overall, it's cool. It's nice to see some progress. It's kind of amazing considering the size of that team and how much engineering effort they're putting in that it just has the problems it still has. All that said, it's cool that you can run these really long jobs. It has a lot of potential. Subagents are interesting. I'm excited to see where this goes. Let me know what you guys think, though. Am I being too harsh on Claude Code, or is this just kind of weird? I'm curious how y'all feel. And until next time, peace, nerds.